Hi everyone. I hope you all are doing good. I'm also doing good. Here in this particular session, we will discuss the input tax credit claim on the motor vehicles. How can we claim the input tax credit for the motor vehicles? Because as of now, this VAT return filing is going on for the Q4 2025, and I'm recording this session to help you out through this particular filing, and it will help you for the future as well. So let's start. Before starting with how can we claim the input tax credit on the motor vehicles, first we need to understand what type of inputs we usually have in relation to the motor vehicles. Whenever we purchase the motor vehicle, we do the repair and maintenance, spare part, accessories, fuel, lubricant, servicing, and insurance related expenses. Whatever we have, whenever we pay the amount to a registered VAT registered supplier, he usually put VAT in his invoice. So we usually pay the VAT to that particular supplier. But so many persons say that we are paying the VAT to that respective supplier, so we are eligible to claim the VAT based on that particular tax invoice. But this is not the fact. The Oman Tax Authority in the law mentioned some type of inputs are the block credits. So in relation to the motor vehicle also, there are some sort of things that are considered as a block credit. So you are not eligible to claim all motor vehicle related inputs in your VAT returns. Let's discuss these things. So through this particular chart and slide, we can understand how can we claim the input on motor vehicles. So there are two type of use that we know. One is the business use, another is the personal use. So let's discuss the personal use. If we are using the motor vehicle for the personal use, as per Article 56, all inputs are considered as the block credit. So we are not eligible to get that particular input, whatever we pay at the time of purchase, fuel, service, repair, maintenance, insurance, whatever. All will be considered as the block credit and it will be your cost. Then second is the business use. In the business use, we usually have the two types of vehicles, transportation vehicle and the passenger vehicle. If we have the transportation vehicles, all types of inputs, whatever we have, will be we can claim that particular inputs in our VAT return. But for in case of the passenger vehicles, we need to check the seating capacity. In the first option is if our seating capacity is less than or equal to 10 passengers, then whatever inputs we have all will be considered as a block credit and will become the part of our cost. Means we are not eligible to claim that particular VAT that we are paying to the supplier. Second, if the seating capacity is more than 10 passengers, in that particular case, we can claim whatever we are paying, whatever inputs we have in relation to the passenger vehicle, we are eligible to claim. Then there are some FAQs. These questions I frequently got from the clients, so I put here. The first question is clients usually ask, we are providing exempt supplies, standard supplies, zero rated supplies, whether we are eligible to claim the input. If a supplier is providing 100% exempt supplies, or his nature of business is to provide the exempt supplies, means like in the case of the healthcare, the education sector, these services are considered as the exempt supply, so all inputs will be considered as a block. But if you are providing mixed supplies like standard supplies, zero rated and exempt, then you can claim on the apportionment basis, but evidence is required. So second question, if the vehicle is used by the employee for mixed use, like for the business or personal, both purpose a vehicle is using, then can we claim the input tax credit? The answer is no. General answer is no. If the vehicle is used by the employees or management for the purpose of personal or mixed use or business or mixed use, you cannot claim the input tax credit. However, if the sufficient evidence is available and you have the proper documentation, so you can claim the apportioned amount of the ITC for your business use. But this apportioned ITC is at the discretion of the inspector. In future, you need to prove it to the inspector that we are claiming on this particular based on these particular documents. If any if you fail to provide any evidence or inspector will not satisfy, then in this case he can disallow that particular ITC. Next, if a core business of a company is a car rental or logistic management, so can they eligible the input? Yes, they can eligible input even their sitting capacity of the vehicles are less than 10% because their core business is the car rental. So in case of the car rental logistic management, they are eligible to claim all type of inputs. Then what about the fuel repair maintenance? Can we claim? To claim fuel repair and maintenance related inputs, we need to go to the first slide. We need to check this, and as per this, we can claim. VAT on fuel service maintenance and spare parts can be claimed only if the vehicle itself qualifies for the input tax recovery based on the use. Okay. Then fifth question, what type of documentation we usually need to retain or what documentation required to claim the input tax credit? Valid tax invoice from the supplier, registration related details of the vehicle uses policy and purchase contract or purchase invoice, and VAT returns in which we are claiming the our this particular motor claim. So these documents we need to retain with us. If we don't have these documents, then inspector has a right to disallow the particular input and you need to pay the interest and penalty as well. Second thing, one more thing that I want to highlight here, some persons what they do, they buy the vehicle in the name of the company but they did the registration in the name of the individual, some manager or some staff member. If this situation is there, then inspector can disallow the input as well as they can disallow the depreciation in the income tax law as well, because registration document also must be in the name of the company. If you are using, if you are having a registration related documents in the name of the individual and bill and the purchase invoice in the name of the company, then inspector has a right to disallow your input claim as well, and he can disallow your depreciation in the income tax as well, because all that documentation must be in the name of the company only. Then, what happens if input tax is incorrectly claimed by us? If the company incorrectly claim the input on the vehicle, then Oman Tax Authority may disallow. How they disallow? At the time of assessment, when the inspector will notice this particular thing or incorrect or wrong claim, then they can disallow, and they have a right to put interest penalties and other things as well, and adjustment you also need to do. So to avoid this particular situation, better to revise the returns or adjust this particular adjustments in the subsequent VAT return and declare yourself that we are reducing our input when we got noticed. Another thing, are special vehicles treated differently? Yes, we have separate type of different vehicles like ambulance, refrigeration vehicles for the special type of goods that we need to supply. So these type of vehicles, and we need to assess each scenario separately. Then, does Oman VAT law expressly forbid ITC on the passenger vehicles? The answer is Oman VAT law doesn't list every scenario in the law. So we need to apply the basic principles and basic approach. If not used exclusively for the taxable business, ITC not allowed. If used for the business purpose, taxable ITC may be allowed subject to the conditions as we discussed in the second slide. But the burden of proof lies on the taxpayer. If taxpayer fails to prove, then if taxpayer fails to prove, then inspector has a right to disallow the input and you need to pay interest and penalty as well. Then the last question is, do we need to do any adjustments for ITC in case of loss, damage or theft of the vehicle? No, company don't need to do any adjustment in case of the loss, theft or damage. Yeah, because in relation to the business vehicle, business use vehicle, you claimed the ITC already, so no need to reverse it. The second thing, for the personal use of the vehicle, the ITC already blocked, so no need to do any adjustments. Only what you need to do whenever you go through this type of situation, you need within 30 days you need to update or inform to the tax authority through the VAT return or something that this particular vehicle is no longer with us due to loss, theft or damage. But to substantiate this particular transaction, you need to have proper document or evidence. Without the documentation, authority will not consider this particular situation. Okay. Thank you. If you have any doubt, I have provided my mail ID and mobile number here, so you can contact us. And if you want any type of like advisory or like thing, you can contact me. Thank you.